In the event that the SUV has turned into the vehicular symbol of the suburbs, at that point each one of those huge Ford Expeditions and their kind are the mansions of the interstate. However, every pattern must deliver a countertrend. Inland, that is the modest house wonder, whose enthusiasts dismiss the expanding size of the American tract house. In the car advertise, one may draw a parallel with smaller than normal utility vehicles, which, much more so than modest houses, are detonating in ubiquity. They were the quickest developing section in 2017, and Ford has now entered the expanding classification with the subcompact EcoSport. The EcoSport genuinely grasps the minor ethos. It's 16.8 inches shorter long than an Escape and rides on a 6.7-inch shorter wheelbase. Indeed, even inside its aggressive set, which incorporates the Jeep Renegade, the Honda HR-V, and the Chevrolet Trax, among others, the EcoSport is the runt of the litter. The Ford's wheelbase is the briefest of the gathering, and the majority of its rivals are no less than a half-foot longer generally speaking. In spite of the fact that the EcoSport is unfamiliar to us, it's not another vehicle. Its little measurements are likely because of the models initially being intended for the South American and Indian markets. This age has been sold somewhere else since 2012, having quite recently been dealt with to a mid-cycle refresh alongside a few alterations to prepare it available to be purchased in the United States. The model is worked in Romania, Brazil, Russia, China, and Thailand. Our autos will originate from an industrial facility in India. Most forms of the EcoSport come standard with the turbocharged 1.0-liter inline-3 that summons 123 drive at 6,000 revolutions per minute and 125 pounds-feet of torque at 3,500 revolutions per minute. It drives the front wheels. On the off chance that you need all-wheel drive, you're moved up to a non-turbo 2.0-liter inline-4 that is useful for 166 torque at 6,500 revolutions per minute and 149 pounds-feet at 4,500. The two motors utilize a 6-speed programmed. The auto we drove had the turbocharged 3-barrel and front-wheel drive. The combo can stand its ground in common city and rural driving. However, more dire calls for increasing speed are met with a shrug. Under about all conditions, the EcoBoost 3-chambers coarse chatter is your steady friend. That the EcoSport utilizes a 6-speed program instead of a CVT, as found in a few of its adversaries, is further bolstering its good fortune, notwithstanding. The ordinary program eliminates high RPM rambling, and this gearbox has no second thoughts about dunking into its lower proportions. With just 125 pounds-feet of torque close by, it can't manage the cost of not to. In spite of the motor's little dislodging and the EcoSport's small size, when it comes time to stomach up to the gas pump, the EcoSport drinks like the bigger young men. Its most temperate powertrain, the Turbo 3 with front drive, can't break 30 miles per gallon on the roadway. EPA appraisals are 29 miles per gallon parkway and 27 city. With the 4-barrel and all-wheel drive, the city figure drops to 23 miles per gallon while the throughway number remains the same. The substantially bigger Escape with the 1.5-liter Turbo 4 and all-wheel drive is only 1 mile per gallon behind the all-wheel drive EcoSport in the two measures. Furthermore, the front drive, 1.5-liter Escape really beats the EcoSport on the interstate, with 30 miles per gallon, despite the fact that its 4 miles per gallon bring down in the city. Taken together at another path, with the same 1.0-liter/programmed mix as the front-drive EcoSport, the Ford Focus restores a similar 27 miles per gallon city at 38 miles per gallon on the expressway, an astounding 9 miles per gallon better. Several extra riggings in the programmed no uncertainty would help the EcoSport on the roadway. The EcoSport's better-than-average ride is a lovely amazement in a vehicle with such a short wheelbase. On our case, 17-inch wheels were wrapped with 205/50 R17 tires, and their generous, universally handy nature no uncertainty helped bring some relief knocks. The suspension deals with a sensible level of body control, and the directing weights up fittingly once you get past parking garage speeds. Despite the fact that there's nothing enthusiastic about the EcoSport's reactions, they're not especially drowsy, either. The small SUV just goes where you point it, and obviously it's secure to move in tight limits. There is a firmer frame setup that comes standard on the SCS display, which we didn't drive. Obviously, captivating driving elements by and large are not a high need in this portion. Rather, these vehicles are much more about flexibility and highlights. Indeed, even purchasers who are going little would prefer essentially not to skirt the comforts or the most recent innovation. The EcoSport's element content is about mid-pack. At a beginning cost of $20,990, the base S is humbly prepared, with the reinforcement camera, 2 USB ports, and a fundamental rendition of sync, and, inquisitively, it's the main variation where you can get a sporty, race-mounted extra tire, $185. The SE, at $23,900, includes a pile of gear including a power sunroof, programmed atmosphere control, vicinity passage, push catch begin, satellite radio, a powered driver's seat, warmed front seats, rooftop rails, raised stopping sensors, a 6.5-inch touchscreen, and Sync 3 with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto availability. Discretionary on the SE are blind side checking, raised cross-movement alarm, a 8.0-inch touchscreen with Route 17-inch wheels, a warmed guiding wheel, and Sync Connect with applications and a Wi-Fi hotspot. For $26,735, the titanium incorporates a large portion of the SE's discretionary hardware, alongside calfskin and a Bang & Olufsen sound framework. The $27,735 SES avoids the Favor sound framework and swaps in fabric and cowhide seats, move paddles, and the firmer suspension. It's additionally the main model to come standard with the 4-chamber motor and all-wheel drive. They're discretionary on the other trim levels for $1,500. Forward crash cautioning, robotized crisis braking, and path takeoff cautioning are not on the menu for any of the 4 trim levels. The inside completions on our titanium spec illustration were unremarkable, worthy, not excessively shabby. The SES Lodge has more identity, with copper-shaded trim and copper stripes on the seats. The 8.0-inch touchscreen with haptic criticism looks great, and the home screen can show sound and telephone information at the same time with the guide. The screen's swipe and squeeze to zoom usefulness are natural, but then there are welcome handles for volume and tuning. It's a piece of a basic dashboard with clear controls. The driver's seat is steady and agreeable, yet the forward view is encroached marginally because of the back corners of the hood that is sent up to meet the wide A-columns, making blind sides that are unrelieved by the little triangular windows in front of the entryway glass. Perceivability to the back isn't extraordinary, either, however the accessible blind side observing and back cross-movement ready makes a difference. Rearward sitting arrangement space is tight, yet the base pad is high up off the floor, a redeeming quality that makes the backroost scarcely tenable for grown-ups. In any case, the shortage of knee-room is serious, to such an extent that tall drivers won't not have the capacity to slip a shopping sack onto the floor behind their seat. The EcoSport's payload hold is gotten to through a side-pivoted entryway, the discharge is covered up in the correct taillight, and offers a class-aggressive 21 cubic feet behind the back seats and 50 cubic feet with the seatbacks collapsed. For reference, a Honda HR-V has around 15% more note for the freight volume. A removable false floor can be situated higher, agreeing with the collapsed seatbacks and making for a shallow, shrouded stowage territory underneath, or lower, adding 2 or 3 creeps to the freight zone tallness. The back seat backs, split 60-40, overlay effectively once the seat pads are flipped forward. The EcoSport's humble lodging, unobtrusive power, and sadly unassuming efficiency are tempered by its receptive innovation, adaptability. The accessibility of all-wheel drive isn't a given among the opposition, and genuinely low money cost. Passage's entrance in this portion is shamelessly at the modest end of the range, However, maybe that will be and or more for the individuals who dismiss the thought that you should drive more auto than you truly require.